In this video, I'm going to share 4 internal shifts that completely changed the way I started understanding stress. I think a lot of people believe that stress comes only from how much they have to handle externally. But honestly, I've noticed that 2 people can go through very similar situations and respond very differently emotionally. Like one person feels constantly overwhelmed, the other still feels calm and grounded internally. And that's when I started realizing something important. Is that sometimes stress is not only about what's happening around us externally, it's also about the internal state that we're living in, right? Because many people are functioning externally, but internally they're carrying mental pressure, constant thinking, emotional tension, self-pressure, right? And a mind that never fully switches off. And after a while, everything starts feeling heavier than the actual reality. So in this video, I'm going to share 4 internal shifts that completely changed the way I started understanding stress, and why sometimes the biggest change is not outside you, it's in the way you relate to what's happening inside you. So let's get right into it. If you're new to the channel, this is Kelsang, NLP coach, and I create videos around mindset, emotional well-being, self-awareness, and deeper patterns behind how we think and respond. So if stress has been feeling heavier lately for you, then this conversation may help you to understand why. You see, many people are emotionally tired in ways they don't even fully recognize it. Not because of one huge thing happened, but because their mind never actually rests. Even during the rest, they're still mentally active, thinking, planning, remembering, right? Overthinking, preparing for the next time, and slowly their internal state stays tensed all the time. Then eventually small things start feeling emotionally bigger than they normally would, and that's how they react differently. Or delay feels overwhelming, right? Or conversation may feel draining. One more responsibility feels mentally exhausting. And people start there asking themselves, why am I reacting like this lately? But honestly, sometimes your inner world has simply been under pressure. And once I started understanding the stress this way, everything began to change differently for me internally. So here are 4 internal shifts that change how you handle stress. Number 1, stop believing that you have to hold everything together all the time. Very, very important, right? Because many people unknowingly carry this belief that they always need to stay strong, always stay productive, always stay emotionally controlled, always keep handling things, right? Always keep going, even when they internally are exhausted. And honestly, that pressure alone creates emotional tension, right? Because when your mind believes that I cannot slow down, or I need to keep managing, keep trying, keep everything perfect, your body never truly relaxes. Now, I used to think handling stress meant like becoming mentally stronger, right? But now I see it differently. I think real emotional strength is also being able to recognize that yes, I am overwhelmed right now, without guilt, without shame, without judging yourself for it, right? Because once you stop fighting for your own emotional state, you stop adding that extra pressure on top of the stress that you already feel. And that shift alone changes a lot internally. Number 2, separate urgency from importance. You see, many people live in this constant urgency now. Everything feels immediate, everything feels mentally loud, everything feels important. And after a while, your mind starts responding to life like it's always under pressure or it's always under threat, even when nothing dangerous is actually happening outside. And that changes your emotional state completely, because your mind never gets a chance to feel settled, right? One thing that started helping me was asking, does this actually need my emotional energy right now? Such a powerful question. That question changed so much for me, because not every thought deserves panic. Not every situation deserves overthinking, right? And not everything needs an immediate emotional reaction right now. Sometimes your stress reduces simply because you stop treating everything like an emergency internally. And that creates a completely different experience of life. Shift number 3, your thoughts are not always facts, which is another point, a very important point to remember. This shift changes emotional overwhelm deeply, right? Because many people automatically believe that every thought that enters their mind, like if something feels stressful, it must be terrible. If I feel behind, I probably am. If I feel overwhelmed, maybe I am failing, right? But remember, these thoughts are often the emotional reactions, not objective truth. And when we constantly repeat stressful thoughts internally, our emotional state starts reacting to those thoughts as if they are completely real. And that's why overthinking feels so emotionally exhausting, because your mind keeps rehearsing pressure repeatedly. And one thing that started helping me was creating a little space between what I think and what is actually true. And honestly, that small separation creates emotional space, because not every thought needs to control your emotional state, right? And here's the last one, which is shift number 4. Your internal state changes how heavy life feels. It's in your hand. I think this is one of the biggest shifts of all. The same situation can feel very different depending on your internal state. On emotionally calm days, you handle things differently. You respond more patiently, you think more clearly, small things don't affect you as deeply, right? But when you are mentally tired or exhausted, everything feels heavier. And this realization changed the way I started looking at stress completely. Because instead of constantly trying to control everything outside me, I started paying more attention to what was happening inside me. My emotional state, my mental overload, internal tension, emotional exhaustion. Because sometimes the goal isn't how do I control life better? The real question is, how do I support myself better internally while life is still happening? And that question changes everything. So try it out. And if this conversation felt personally relatable to you, I hope this video helped you understand stress a little differently today, right? So implement whatever we've discussed in this video, because sometimes stress is not just about what's happening around us. Like I said, it's also about the emotional pressure we've been carrying internally for a very long time. So if these are the conversations that you would like more of, feel free to subscribe to my channel. And honestly, I think many people right currently are silently carrying these emotional pressure while continuing to function normally on the outside. So if that's been you lately, I will also be hosting a workshop around this topic. So you will find the link in the description below. Click on the link, register, and I'll see you inside, and I'll see you in the next week's video.